How are you as a parent?
My wife and I have the biggest conflict around that is she's very methodical. She's very process driven. She's very matter of fact. And my approach, both towards Vidur, our 11-year-old, and Uzma, our 5-year-old, is there are some things that they will learn even if we don't teach them.
Correct. I agree.
तो वो सिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है. हमें उनको एक प्लेबुक देनी है. A playbook that they would know, pretty much like the one you were suggesting, where in moments of doubt, they have a reference guide.
Yeah.
That's it. We don't have to teach them how to brush their teeth, take a bath, get ready, speak a certain language, because there is no way that they can survive in this world if they don't know that.
Yeah.
So they will, by merit or by force or by just the survival instincts that we are born with, figure that thing out. But they wouldn't figure it out what it would be to say treat a human. They wouldn't know how to react if their friends started mocking them for being friends with somebody else. They wouldn't know what it would be to react, how to react if their friends were like, oh, the teacher is a duffer, he or she doesn't know anything, we will figure it out, or anything like that. I'm just making this shit up. So if you can give a playbook or a reference guide, that's our role. So it's not to be prescriptive, it's not to be micromanaging. You micromanage the systems and people will then eventually micromanage themselves. That's at least my belief. But that does mean that I am fairly lenient with like, koi farak nahi padta. Like that's my favorite line, koi farak nahi padta. And she would often say, kis cheez ka farak padta hai? Like what really matters? And I'm like, you know what? The truth is very few things in life matter. We make them important, but very few things in life matter. What matters to me? What matters to me is my health, the health of my family, my thinking ability. And frankly, that's it. I don't have a fourth. I really don't have a fourth. Like my biggest worry or fear in life is losing my loved ones or losing my ability to think. And that then makes it very easy for me to be a parent where I genuinely think कि ज़्यादातर चीज़ों से फर्क नहीं पड़ता.
But actually, does this really matter? I have a flip thing. I've realized that from the time I became a parent, you actually realize what things matter more than you ever did. Because till then, there were always like random things you wanted, and you still want random things. I don't think you will ever give up on that. But as you're trying to tell someone else or rather teach someone else what should matter to them, you realize that you also you're getting a revision course in life. Look, 1 second, like I tell my mom, like I finally get it. Okay, that time I'm like, why are you telling me to do this, not do this? I'm like, oh, I get it. But some of the points you spoke about, right? Just the things that they have to deal with. It's all about navigating human equations, relationships, dealing with emotions, dealing with how, like the other day we were having this conversation about how, I didn't realize how early friendships are made and broken in kids' lives. And my daughter's like 6, and I've already heard many times, like, she's not a friend anymore. This one's playing with someone else. This one's moved away. I'm like, and then there's this point where classes were shuffled together in a school, and then all her friends were in the other section, and she was like, I'm like, now, there's no right answer for this. But there's always like, okay, this is how you deal with it, maybe. And so the more I tell her these things, I am finding ways for me to deal with it myself.
Exactly.
Which is why I say that being a parent has many added benefits for the period of time when your kids are young. Older, I don't know, so I can't talk about that yet. But have you seen yourself change?
Yeah, certainly, absolutely. I see a lot of. I question a lot of things of what is, as you rightly pointed out, even important or not, necessary or not, should be prescribed to somebody else or not. And then, of course, in that prescription / mentoring / guidance / conversation / talk, you begin to realize a lot of things for your own self, as you mentioned. So that's wonderfully additive. I think the biggest difference that has happened to me as a parent is this not so popular opinion, which by the way I've never shared with my wife. So if you're hearing it, I'd still love you. I don't think there is any other love except that of a parent and a child. I don't think adults love each other. I'd like to believe I love my wife and I'd like to believe that she loves me. But I think there is a layer of other variables that we misinterpret as love. And it could be anything. Like when you're young, it could be physical intimacy.
Yeah.
When you're old, it could be companionship. When you are somewhere in the middle, it could be even ambition or fueling it, whatnot.
Yeah.
So we call it love, but at the end of it, I genuinely today think that love is only what happens between a parent and a child.
It's one of the purest forms of it.
It is just unconditional.
Yeah.
It is unconditional. It is, it is crazy how unconditional it is and how it happens in a second. Like in a second, you were not that person. There was this fantastic joke that not a joke, it was a stand-up, and he was saying it, meant it to be funny, but it's real life. It's like with your wife, or for that matter, partner, you would take a bullet for her. Right? So you would die for her. The second your child is born, you would kill for that child.
Yeah, I've seen the same one. Yeah.
You would kill.
Yeah.
You would become a murderer for that thing that was just inside the womb of your partner until second back has just come out.
Yeah.
And you instantly become from a defender to this attacker. And like, मैं जान ले लूंगा किसी की अगर इसको कुछ करने दिया. It's crazy.
And it's also like, you don't realize how much it changes the way you live your life. I have lots of friends who don't have kids, and they're like, we see how much it has changed just the person you are and the way you live life. And some of them are making choices about, them having kids or not. But one of the things I told them is that you have chosen to bring this person into this world. Now you got to make the most of the period of time when they're around, because they're not going to be around you all the time. Eventually, they'll do what we all did. We all left home and we went in our own directions. But it's also pure, I feel, because it's like when you tell a kid saying, no, but you have to do this and you owe me this much. You owe me this much. Kid guy, I didn't ask to be. You got me, so this unnatural demands of like, no, I've got you, so you have to do this is a thing. But I've also realized the fact that I do have to, it's very weird. People don't believe this. I am actually the strict parent at home. I am the person who can say no and put my foot down and be very stern. And everybody else outside my house does not believe this.
Wow.
But I can stand there and watch someone cry and like roll. I'm like, no, that's what it is. Right. And I feel it comes from the fact that I know that game. I've played that game with that kid throwing a tantrum for so long as a kid. I'm like, I know what you're doing. You don't teach me this stuff. I have a master's degree in this right now.
Oh, so true, so true. I often tell Vidur as well, like, मैं तुम्हारा बाप हूँ. मुझे पता है ये क्या है. Whenever he's trying to be like lie or be sly about something, it's like, it's just so obvious.
I also feel we're a generation of parents who have grown up aware of so many more things that go on in the world.
Yes.
That which our parents didn't.
They didn't.
Like, I've got away with, and I went through a period of my life when I was a smoker. Last period of time, parents didn't know. My dad was a smoker himself, so he's the one who caught me because he realized. He's like, I know the trait. I know what. But people didn't know, and I could get away with a lot of. Now I'm like, he's also looking at a world where, you mentioned screens. We have a generation of people who have grown up with screens, not just for them to consume, but to almost like capture everything which their life has. We did a lot of stuff as kids which nobody knows about, which nobody needs to know about, and we had so much more freedom to explore those. Now I can almost see a lens of there might be a camera around.
Correct.
What will log kya kahenge wala scenario now has been like multiplied 20, 30x.
And also the fact, I was reading this in a medical journal, that humans, until this generation did not have a way of reliving the exact moment that they just lived. It's never happened before in human history.
Yeah.
Before photography was invented, it never happened. And it only happened, let's say, cave पे बना दिया इसने, ये हमारी पहली date थी. तो it became like forever and ever, stone man and stone women hanging out. Photography came, but that was also delayed. There's like the developing and sukha, wo sab karo. But never has it happened in the moment. And what do kids do today? They get themselves click, and the first thing they say is dikhao. Because they are reliving that moment.
Yeah.
And it was a fascinating journal article that said, we don't yet know what are the ramifications of this. Because it does have an emotional side effect that has still not been figured in its entirety. That there is a certain response we get within our body when we live a certain moment.
Yeah.
But we don't know what happens is if we relive that exact moment through another medium as instantly as it happens today.
Yeah.
Does it curb the emotions? Does it make it even higher? Does it elevate that feeling, or does it depress it? And time will tell. Like for all you know, just like smoking was advertised and promoted by doctors at some point of time, and as weird as banal as it sounds, there may be 20 years hence people saying, you know what, clicking a photograph and looking at it is prohibited.
Yeah. They let you carry phones around all the time.
Exactly. Like it's a weird place to be in.
Did that make you rethink things? If it did, make sure you check out the full episode.